Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Strength General Tao or Mercenary Tao LR after his easy aim and how good he is at 100% in the hidden potential system. Now General Tao is a pretty interesting character. He is, I would say overall, quite a good World Tournament unit, but he is very limited in terms of team. So I think he's really good, but I think he is very limited in terms of team. I think that's one of the things holding him back, but he is a fun nuking option, so I don't want to kind of disregard him or anything, because I do think he is a very fun, well done little World Tournament unit. So he is a DB Saga category key +4 HP attack and defense of 150% lead. Greatly raises attack and defense 1 turn, causes colossal damage to the enemy and a great chance of performing a crit on his 12 key. And the same for his 18 key, obviously just providing for mega colossal damage. And that's pretty big, that's 70% crit chance. So you don't really need to build him into any crit. Now he receives an additional key +2 per key sphere obtained. He gets, for every key sphere obtained, 56% attack, 48% defense. 3 or more key spheres will give him 75% attack and 64% defense when attacking. When attacking with 10 or more key, attack of 108%. When receiving an attack with 10 or more key, defense of 108%. When HP is 50% or more, defense of 100% and damage reduction of 20%. Before receiving 3 attacks in battle, damage reduction of 20% up. And then when HP is 50% or less at the start of the character's attacking turn, after receiving 3 or more attacks in battle, you have damage reduction of 50% up, and randomly changing key spheres of a certain type to strength key spheres. When activating his active skill, he also has attack of 440% temporarily, and performs a critical hit. So he is very much orb dependent. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to realize that the more orbs you get with him, the better he's going to be. And that makes him a very good nuking unit. That plus his incredibly high base crit makes him a really good nuking unit. Now in terms of basically, how can I say, success rate with him, I will say that I think overall he is a good unit to use in nuking events. He'll be around on a DB Saga team as well. He doesn't have a lot of requirements, so like barring his health requirements to activate certain things, which I think is a very tough bar, we'll talk about that now. There's not a lot of like category requirements or anything like that, so there is definitely scope to use him, but it's the question of whether you are going to get to be able to use him in his full capacity, because to use him fully is quite difficult. You need to have him get hit 3 times. Not too hard, but then you also need him to hit 50% HP or less, because you see his active skill, last ditch attempt, massively raises his attack, causes ultimate damage, and stuns the enemy. This is only available when he's received 3 or more attacks in battle, and if his HP is 50% or less. Because of the huge damage spike it gives him with orbs and everything, it's very obvious that they kind of locked it behind a quite stringent health requirement, which I think is okay, but I do find could impact his consistency levels. That, and honestly his raw defense is okay. I think post super you're looking at him sitting at, or post receiving an attack at 10 key or more, you're kind of looking at him being at around the 800-900k mark. It is very difficult for him. The difficulty lies kind of in the fact that he just has raw defense, a little bit of damage reduction, but that damage reduction drops very quickly. 3 attacks is not a lot to lose 20% damage reduction. And then when you couple that with the fact that he doesn't have any built-in evasion or anything, there is a couple things that he does kind of need to work on to get good defense. might be okay for normals, but I do think he's a little bit limited in terms of his defensive options. And even building him, like giving him a little bit of evasion, isn't really going to do too much, because you do still want to, I personally think you do want to maximize his, damage. So I do think for me, you want to give him, additionals, things like that. You really want to give him that huge kind of foundation to work off of. I think that's way better for him and gives him a lot more utility than, like trying to just build him for, defense. I just don't see him as a defensive unit. I just find him to be a really fun nuking / damage unit that can do a good job on DB Saga, Earth Red Fighters. I think he's okay. I think with like the new AGL Goku and that, I think he's alright. I think his link set's a little bit wonky. That's probably the biggest issue. If we could just get like a good General Banner Mercenary Tao, or I guess General Cyborg Tao, or General Tao, or whichever one, then I think, you could be pretty good. But I think for now, you know what, I'd say overall, he looks pretty decent.